My name is Nathan Dize, and I would like to read an excerpt for you from Makenzy Orcel's novel, The Immortals, which was published in November 2020 with SUNY Press. All the cries of the earth echo in my belly. My name my name doesn't matter. The whores, they don't give a fuck if you're a writer or anything else. You pay them, they make you come, and you get the hell out after. Just like nothing happened. For the rest of us, the clients, it's the same. Our names don't matter. It's like going all over the place, shouting that the world is round, that God exists, and yet the earth has never been as round as the existence of God. I'm a writer. That's what I tell them when people ask me what I do for a living. An affirmation that somehow for me rings false, since I write with death and in death. This place escapes weightiness, escapes time-space, between elsewhere and childhood. The moment when this thing happened, I was rereading Les Fleurs du Mal. Baudelaire is a real bird of ill omens. He always comes with death on the tip of his beak. The last time, it was a violent nervous breakdown. I only just barely snapped out of it. She seemed to have understood the power of writing by asking me to write this book about Grand-Rue, for all of the other horrors that disappeared in this thing. A book, she said, to make them living, immortal. She told me her story. I only had to transform it, find the correct formulation to explain her pain, her memories, her anxieties, and everything else. To write with another at the helm, with her tears, her silence trailing after each word, each parcel of unknown earth, unnavigable, taken by the striptease of death. What had Grand-Rue become? Port-au-Prince, the city where I grew up, the city of my first poems. I wasn't sure that I could make it. For me, sex and alcohol were the best therapy. I ran from everything, even writing. I didn't want to write immediately. At least I thought it wasn't possible. Swimming in whiskey, I slid into the infamous landscape of this room that stank of shit and death and drowned myself in its ocean of horrors. It's the first time that I entered a whorehouse with an a priori as egotistical as the pleasure of floating amongst the stars. She lit a cigarette, took a long drag, and let escape a thick cloud of smoke from her mouth and then from her nose. To me, she looked phenomenal with her whorish wiles. So what do you do for a living? My favorite question. I'm a writer. A writer? That works out great. You give me what I ask you for, and you can have me in any way you desire. Deal. First, I just had to write and then fuck her. This idea was rather pleasing to me. After all, books don't sell so well. Writing for sex, that can compensate certain things. She moved toward the window to contemplate, not without bitterness, the immense valley of concrete and white dust outside. The irreparable, the ineffable, the despair that flowed from people's eyes, the city of rubble, shredded, saturated, in identifiable and unidentifiable and synthesized dead people, creating all sorts of geometric figures. Then, suddenly, like that, improvising like a punch to the mouth, she let loose a sentence that swept away the silence. The little girl, she stuck under the rubble, 12 days after having prayed to all of the saints.